Now we title this tier one, but to be honest, what I really want to talk about is um, tier one careers. What is a tier one career? A tier one career is a career that you take. Please follow me. I've started. That guarantees, and please follow, that you will become or be positioned among the elite in your geography. Okay. Now, if you follow the history of the world, let me repeat that again. A tier one career is a career that you take on that guarantees that you will be among the elite of your society or elite of your time. Now, if you say you're a surgeon in New York, you're likely an elite. You can afford to live in the best part of town. That means you can attend the best parties in town. That means your children can go to the best schools in town. Do you understand what I'm saying? My sister in the US was moving houses, and she said that the reason why she's moving houses is because she wants to get to a zip code that will allow her son get better education. All right. So a tier one job. Now, initially it says tier one company, but I decided to pull that to get your attention, even though I'll still talk about it. But my focus, which will be to do justice, is to let you recognize that there's what we call a tier one career. Now, I know a few family friends, that turned 50 recently. And during the reunion, right? During the reunion, friends from secondary school were invited. Now, picture this. We both went to the same secondary school. You took a different path. Maybe you got married early, which there's nothing wrong with that. And, this was as far back as the late 80s. Please follow me. Late 80s, early 90s. So, like 91, 92, thereabout, they finished school. Now they are 50. But when they came for this reunion for the wedding, the differences between all of them immediately showed. And it was not so much of luck and so many other things. But if you ask me, and because I'm probably one of the oldest people on the call, and you need to take some of the things I'm saying seriously, if you ask me, the difference between them, the two parties, one party, both 50, and they went to the same secondary school, is that some people took on a tier one career for that dispensation, while some other people never got jobs or settled for something else that did not give them an opportunity. I mean, I had one that came in, sorry, I beg your pardon, one that came in with the police, Mopo, and the latest Jeep. Guess what? In fact, that one flew private jet for the event and said, "Who wants to join me? I need company." Managing director of a bank. What is the difference? The person took a tier one career path. That's the difference. So, what is tier one career path? A tier one career path is, like I said, you join either the organization or you take on the functional area, and I'll differentiate the two. And in the process, you are recognized and are able to join a company that rewards you for your value and your expertise, and you continue on that trajectory, staying relevant. Now, I have a lot to say and a lot to unpack. And that's why I said we're going to do this in a very, I want to do this in about 30 minutes. It's not going to be the last time you're going to see me. I'm going to come back and we're going to have more. You're going to meet other experts because I'm going to introduce you to our community. All right. So please follow me. I said a tier one career path or a tier one trajectory is when you take on an industry, a company, or a functional area that offers you the most relevant competencies you require that would serve that dispensation. That is a tier one. So there was a time that it was banking. So the people that rode the wave, and I'll tell you about banking shortly, the people that rode the wave became the big boys of town. Ah, I'm really, really thinking how I'm going to unpack my passion to you guys within this very short possible time. I was privileged. Okay, I wasn't there, but my partner was there, even though I met him. Jimovia, the chairman of Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank is one of the largest banks in Africa. In fact, during his, I think, 60th birthday, when he was launching a book, he organized a party and he said, best dancer. I mean, you had the party was going on, but you just randomly, apparently, this thing about best dancer has been there since the time of Herod. For those who understand what I'm talking about, it's just that nobody's head was cut this time around. LOL. So he says best dancer, and then everybody was dancing. My sister was in the room too, and she just came and told us, "Oh boy, it's like joke. When they selected the best dancer, the guy gave the best dancer 10 million naira. Me and you go for part. Like you came for this webinar. And I think we'll do. Maybe go and write it down. I'll call for webinar one day like and dash 10 million naira. Do you understand? So maybe not even me, maybe me day or one day will do that. You understand? So the idea is, how do you get that kind of money? Now, this same guy, this chairman of Zenith Bank, right? Listen to what he said. He said that all of you that are shouting jackpot, that, well, you know what? This jackpot thing is not new. That in fact, it was so bad that the Nigerian government had to do adverts in the 90s to tell people not to jackpot. So a lot of your uncles and aunties that you are in the US now, that some of you know about, right? They left Nigeria in the 90s. Now, I don't have anything against jackpot, but what I wanted to tell you is that these guys stayed behind and collected banking licenses. So Zenith collected, GT collected, and the trajectory of the founders took a different. That's when Tony Lumelu skipped careers. Some of you follow him online, Soft Life. That Soft Life, Tony Lumelu he was just an ordinary guy, but he was exceptional. And he rose through the ranks so quickly. When I say ordinary guy, not rich home, rose through the ranks so quickly and took advantage of the opportunities of the time. Took on what I call the tier one opportunities until he got to a position where he could buy a bank. Got his investors, and bought the bank. Now, for the sake of interest, one of the tier one carriers now or tier one, I'm just going to throw down with my biases. Forgive me, I'm going with the mic. Is that startups are another set of tier one opportunities. That's why there's this thing that's been thrown around now, founders. Everybody's throwing founder. Are you a founder? And you can follow online on LinkedIn and see that's another one, right? But some of you are failing to recognize, and that's why this session is timely. That wait, am I actually on a tier one trajectory? Because what happens is that in the bid to survive, people miss the bus. Now, everybody's making money. Now, I'm not taking a swipe at anyone, but or anybody on this call. Please follow my heart, right? People now, they just sit at home and are working and earn dollars. There's this career path. What's important now? Is data analysis. It's business analysis. Is what's the other one? Product management. You see, and I need to educate you. And that's what I'm doing. I'm old enough to. In the 90s, one of the hottest careers was ICANN. And it still is, right? Well, not really. But anyway, it's ICANN. Chartered as, I remember one particular guy in my church then I was just in I think I was in GS2 or GS3. All right? GS2, GS3. He was, he had his young family, I could tell things were tough. He was we come and make announcements in church, just patching here and there, one rickety car. But him and my sister were preparing for ICANN. So there's this centers that they have where you go and take exam, but they also go and prepare. So there are tutorials. By the way, we're going to start doing those things too for our elite courses and our elite career path. Stay tuned for that. So, and then this, so they'll go, you read overnight, put their leg inside water. I must pass ICANN. First trial failed. Maybe one or two courses failed. Guys, boom. He passed. Now, my sister didn't pass. She didn't pass at that time. So he passed before her. Guys, within a month or two, he came to the church in a brand new Honda Civic, wearing an expensive suit. First of all, he came late. No more early coming because I had not have money. That's a joke for those who get it, which is a bad thing though. I mean, just came in. I'm like, what has happened to this guy? He passed ICANN. And because he passed it, he got a tier one organization. His life changed. I met him on the plane some few days ago, by the way, which is very funny in this life. He's working for a startup. Now, he's retired, though, so they called him back. But just to keep body and soul, inflation, pension, things had changed. The world had moved. Small boy. I'm now looking like I can employ him. Now, please, no disrespect to him. I'm not trying to brag either. It's just the times. Now, me, I'm also feeling important. Before that, some of you on this call come and employ me. Maybe Nengi will employ me. No problem. it won't happen, Sha, because one day on media will ensure that doesn't happen. But and that's a joke, but just to get your attention. But the point is that's how so we are now back to this square one. And I'm looking at young people plunging themselves into all kinds of career decisions. I'm like, hey, EBA, come, let's have a webinar. Set the record straight though. That while it is not, the race is not to the swift, there are fundamental principles that have not changed since the time of King Nebuchadnezzar. And let's tell them that this thing works. All right, so that's what this webinar is about. Okay, so let's get down to it, right? Now, I'm going to be really be different. My style is different because it's a very distracted generation. Everybody's busy. You're probably looking at your phone and doing something else and listening to me. But at least because of the way I'm talking, I may have a little more of your attention than normal. If I came with slides, slide one, what is elite? Sorry, what is tier one? Tier one is the process of you off yourself. Forgive my Yoruba, but you get my point, right? Okay. So what I'm saying, guys, is that you need to ask yourself, are you on a tier one path? Well, I'll tell you how to remain on a tier one path. And I promise you, this is not multi-level marketing. Even though some of you, I don't even know whether you know what multi-level marketing. I think the latest multi-level marketing now that is oppressing everybody is real estate. And I'm sure you know them, right? They're all over the place. With all due respect to them on the call, if they come and join or if they join the community in future, I respect you guys and I'll do a special webinar for you. Please remember. But they're almost like, as when they come out to you and say, hey, guys, I have enough people that can advise me to buy land. All my friends are selling land. But back to the point. So, what is in it for you? If you're here and you have 0 to 3 career paths, right? 0 to 3 years, I want to tell you two things. Now, there are tier one companies. I'm being careful not to call, but they all exist in industries. Tier one companies essentially are the companies that can pay you a lot of money as an early career person. But that's not really where I'm focused because my hair is not to get attention about the money. You know one thing, a lot of you here may not get into tier one from day one. And that is the bulk of the people on the call or the bulk of the people in the world and the bulk of the people I'm here to address. Are we together? So, how do people get into tier one organizations or how do people get a tier one career path? Okay, sir. So tier one career path is, let's say, for instance, in fintech and tech, the tier ones are Flutterwave, Haystack, and the others, right? I don't know the others, but I know of Haystack. They're number one, number two, they're about, and then maybe they like so, right? InterSwitch is not a startup, so it's in a different category of itself, but it's also tier one in its own category. It's there together with system specs and so on. All right. Now, there is tier two, there is tier three. In banking, tier one will be Zenith, GT, Access, maybe UBA, right? Not maybe, with all due respect. I can't offend anybody on the call. Yeah, UBA, right? And then there are tier two, tier three. Now, one more, oil and gas, Chevron, Total, and so on. Now, I don't want to, I'm afraid to say tier two, but I will give you code so you figure out yourself. The reason why is because some of these people are going to be my clients. And I don't want them to feel disrespected and you are calling me tier two because there may not be any data to show they're tier two. But who is tier two? Thank you very much, Fugas. Tier two is, I forgot First Bank. Tier two is, they are not tier one, right? Because tier ones are usually like the guys that contribute to about almost 80% of the business, the market share in the market. 80% of the business. The remaining are either trying to displace them or position to be acquired. So I'm not talking about number one, number two. Paystack is not tier two. Together and Flutter with their tier one of that industry that they created. Okay. Now, here is the deal. And this is the point. Tier one people don't like, depending on the organization, when they are in a startup phase, they don't like to hire early career people. But when they become established, they will now start exploring things like graduate training programs or what have you. Now, when they do their graduate training programs, a lot of people fail. My colleagues and I were on a call with one of the tier two oil and gas companies. Yeah, they're tier one in some aspects, but they may claim tier one, but I think they're tier two. They can't be compared in terms of revenue or scale with, in fact, they're tier two based on the starting salary of the early career person. I'll consider them tier two. And let me ask you a question. She told me that from my number, she says they received over, I think if I remember, I think either 25,000 or 100,000 applications. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how many people they need at the end of the day? She said she's only going to hire between 25 and 30. Let me repeat myself. My colleagues are on the call here. Between 25 and 30 is all she needs. But she's going to start to whittle down from 100,000. If you follow us online, by the way, if you're not, go and follow us now on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, right? I mean, don't be distracted. Do that right out of this. If you follow us, you will see one chat we came up with. IABA, please feel free to share that chat whenever you can. You can set it up and show them. I like that chat in front of me while I'm talking. I mean, just for a few seconds. If you follow that chat, you know what you observe? I went to NYC because we have a business to NYC. All the coppers here, shout out to you with lots of love and appreciation. And I look forward to working with you guys to settle you into your tier one life and career path. But here's the thing. The okay, I lost my train of thought. But here's the point. 100,000 people versus 230 people. Okay, I remember. So NYC, because I'm trying to build a relationship with NYC. So I went to NYC. And at NYC, I was told, now I thought it was 600,000. My colleagues and I were working with 600,000, but I was just told that it is now 1 million plus every year that serve in Nigeria. Or every year. So there's batch A, B, and C, stream 1 and 2 within each batch. Can you beat that? When I served in 2008 in Lagos, there was the batch A, B, and C. No, there was batch A and B only. I think so. Yes, there was no C. So look at the trajectory. These guys cannot deal. So if you're on the call, how can you guarantee that you'll be among the 30? That is what I'm here to tell you about. And I'm going to just whet your appetite and pull you into the community and keep you going and continue to interact. I mean, just prepare, brace for impact. But the idea, and of course, I'm going to share some practical steps. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I promise. But let's land. Let me get into practice. Do you move from that? Let me tell you, right? Now, if there's connection and relationship, there's usually a slot of about at least 20 to 30% relationship. Some is 50%, especially public sector organizations. If I know it's 80%, right? And that's where prayer and fasting really works in that side. But there's another one where, yeah, you can qualify and be recognized as exceptional. Now, I realize traditionally, aptitude tests have not exactly left the world. In our own time, when we finished university, a lot of us were reading. I didn't do that, right? I was lucky. I mean, well, not lucky. I was favored. I skipped all those stages, right? And it affected me because I now didn't know how to write CV. So people say, can't you write CV? I'm like, I never really wrote a CV in my life. So I don't know. I mean, I never applied for a job, right? And, yeah. So I'm not bragging or anything. Don't worry. It's a different story for another day. But let's hit this nail. Where I'm going is they prepare for aptitude tests. So aptitude tests are still important. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you a secret of this aptitude test, and we'll talk about how to make it work. Now, I'm telling you the truth. I already started explaining how to get into tier one. The second one, that's if you go the regular route. And I'll explain a regular route is you go through the pre-qualification process, right? We are trying to create an alternative path for people, okay? Now, the second one is after you pass, you show up for a physical interview. Ladies and gentlemen, that is becoming extremely important. And I'm seeing that problem. I was talking to my colleagues and I said that there were some people I interviewed or I spoke with their early career, and I said they lacked spark. So what does that mean? I said they just lack spark. There's no spark. I said, I'm going to show you. Please remind me, what does spark mean? What does spark mean? I will show you. Now, when you get, so after you kill the aptitude, and what is aptitude test? Aptitude test is English language, verbal reasoning, logic in reasoning. That's not English language, that's math. But essentially, your ability to communicate. Sometimes they may ask you to write an essay. Just, are you switched on? What's your comprehension like? All right, and I'll talk about it. Then there's now quantitative reasoning or quantitative analysis. No, not reason. Quantitative, I think it's quantitative reasoning or logic. Essentially, is mathematics. The one you did not like in secondary school. Okay, yes. And it's funny because growing up now, I begin to see the value and the implication of this thing. Right? Follow me, right? Remember my chain of thought. First one is comprehension, quantitative reasoning, quantitative reasoning, essentially math and English. Please don't lose me. Math and English. All right. So, what about the other one where they check for spark? What they're checking for spark, they're checking for charisma, leadership, ability, swing, cleanliness, freshness. Now, honestly, the reason why I have to stick around the community is so that we can continue to polish you and give you guys ideas on how to work very hard on your swag. Listen to me. Hey, I talked about the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is a king that really existed a very long time ago. I think about 4,000 years ago. Someone can check for me. And he was trying to get some boys to come and work in his palace. I mean, he was a king, one of the most successful kings. He was so big that he spent 6 months. He spent 6 months celebrating his birthday. Like he was cross-continental, across continents. And when he said they should go and gather some of the clean boys, listen to the criteria he gave. He said they should be quick to understand, they should be able to solve riddles, they should essentially math and English, they should be quick to understand his comprehension. Then he now said they should be good looking. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I beg, help me here. This is over 4,000. They said they should be good looking. Have you ever seen a tall, fine lady jobless? Who just cast your head and think, have you ever seen it? And I said something very controversial, but I want to get your attention. And I'm not insulting anyone, please, because everybody's beautiful. It's just that you may just have the wrong haircut. That's the problem. Or you may have the wrong makeup. That was to get your attention, make you laugh. That's why I told you I don't want slides, so I can make you guys laugh. I mean, it's Thursday afternoon, we're trying to round off. You don't come and give me slides, please. Let my people work on slides. Let's have a conversation. Have you ever seen a tall, beautiful, blonde lady jobless? No, you can't. Have you ever seen a tall, good-looking guy? The least you'll be a bouncer. You'll be a bouncer. Have you seen all these coffee shops in Lagos? Have you ever seen their young men? Because I was like, why is it that boys that work in coffee shop? Please, I'm straight. But why is that boys that work in coffee shop, they look very... I'm like, I'd actually cracked the joke. And they got the joke. So where am I going? Employers are big on how you look. Oh. So that means you also need to know your tricks. You need to know your makeup configuration. Don't go and follow your friends that won't tell you. Go and look for your enemies. Your enemies will tell you the truth about how you look. They say your head is big. It's true, your head is big. So where you read that, that's so bad. Oh, I told you a king was asking for good-looking people. Do you understand? So don't be deceived. And that king, at least he was old, though. Then you think it's this generation that somebody's trying to hire an executive assistant, or he's trying to hire and he looks, he's okay, and the parade, and all the boys can speak English. Everybody's suave. The next time, who is clean? And guess what? If you know that, okay, maybe you're not the kind of guy that or lady that everywhere the good people are turning, is your friend they are looking at, no problem, nothing spoil. Beautiful character, great attitude will stand you out. Now, this is a very sensitive thing. I didn't even decide to say all this, but I'm trying to explain that is something that's happening. But let me tell you the real issue. The real issue is quality spoken. You know what I'm saying? Diction, great speech, courage, respect, packaging. Those things matter. Now, I'm not here to talk about them because I'm not a big fan of those things. I'm big for substance, cerebral first. But I realized that people want spark. So one of the videos I'm going to play, because I'm going to open YouTube, I'm going to play around with some stuff. You guys are going to see my YouTube, is I want to show you early career professionals who have spark. I'm just going to Google any of the consulting firms and I'll just Google case studies and people having cases, and you'll see the way they answer questions. If you look at the comportment, she'll sit down, they'll think. But you have things like, my name is Emmanuel Tarfa. Thank you. What's that? What's that? Hi, my name is Emmanuel Tarfa. It's a pleasure to be here. I've heard so much about Kryptr, and I'm excited about the opportunity to work with you guys. Thank you. Tell about yourself. Well, I am actually, I don't want to say the cliche things like, hey, I am a go-getter. All that's cliche, right? But I'll tell you one thing about me. I was head boy in primary school, head boy in secondary school, and in university, because there was no place to be head boy, I was in leadership roles across the place. So leadership definitely is my stamp. Look at my choice award, definitely is my stamp. I'm throwing into nations. I'm not sounding like AI. I was almost like, yeah, and your parents spent over $1 million in your private school university every year, send you to expensive university, and you are still speaking like a robot? Oh, now. You might as well just go to any of these private public universities and join the strike now. No spark. No spark. And I'm not saying talking slowly means you have spark. No, you can talk slowly. There are people that talk slowly and gather their thoughts. You don't talk as fast as I do, right? I mean, I've done this when I was a child. But the point is, how do you want people to recognize that there's something here? If Nebuchadnezzar 4,000 years ago, maybe that's why he conquered the world. Because when he understood that, oh boy, if I don't have quality talent, that's actually the reason. So, two things. Aptitude test Spark. Tell your neighbor, spark, spark. And I just gave you an idea. And I went in on and on. Now, I hope I did not create a complex for somebody. Oh, I'm not fine. Me, I'm very black, as you can see. Listen, is your package. Is your package. And one of the few people in this world that understand packaging are clergymen. So go and look for some of the clergymen and see that from their suits. You can come in wearing a distinct, get your perfume together. You enter bus, so you need to know that, okay, deodorant. All right. And I'm really digressing. Let me come back so that I can tie up my points. Please follow us and stick around for subsequent webinars. Don't worry, you'll be seeing my face. I'm supposed to be your, your apostle. So I'll be around. You will see me off. Don't worry. Okay. Now, aptitude test and what? Spark. When you go for the interview, sit down and just look. That means somebody on this call has to consume. Some of you don't, and this is my last point. Some of you, you don't, on this point, on this issue, some of you don't have any opportunity. Listen to this. You don't have any opportunity to present or talk in front of anyone for a very long time. When I leave this place, I'm going to go and facilitate a session. Where I'm coming from. So leave me alone. I'm living too far away from you guys with all sense of humility. You are there in your house. You live with your, with some parent, which is get as it be sometimes. You need to really be exposed. It's iron that sharpens iron. Your parents gave birth to you, so they can sharpen you. They will over pamper you out of a path of success. You heard me right on clear. One of the people that will, that's why you have to sever the umbilical cord. And that's why it is the man that leaves his father and his mother. If you don't sever the umbilical cord, and I'm not saying you should disrespect them, you have to honor them. Please, some of them may be listening to me at the same time, and they may tell you to off this recording. So let me land my point before they tell you. I'm not saying you should dishonor your parents. I am super important. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to making career decisions, you can't rely on their biases because they're in a different generation, a different world. Then we have these guys looking around the corner, some uncles and aunties who are doing job well in their jobs, who will not tell you the kind of pressure they're under. They say, I work in this place, there is a car. Oh God, the guy has target on his head you cannot deal with. Don't go and be copying and be following uncle with his high blood pressure or high blood pressure. Because we are the ones in the boardroom, so we know the reality. But you have my uncle works in this place, means I want to be like, are you sure? No. So there are decisions you have to be. I mean, the decisions you have to make that you have to be unbiased and detached from those sentiments. No biases. That's for critical thinking and problem solving. You can watch out for that. Now, let's land the point. Let's land the point. So, Emmanuel, I'm on this call. What are my options of getting to tier 1? I told you about the story of the people that turned 50. And this 50s, whatever it was about, just about a year ago. And, the whole celebrations and everything and the differences between them. And guys, let me even give you more gist. Some ended up living in the best part of town, bought their houses. Some, I mean, I saw the difference, like stark difference. Family, this one, I remember when they were in secondary school, then I was still a kid. So when they came, the only player, oh, my sister is back, or my brother is back, because, oh, they're back, I'm happy they buy me stuff from Lagos or wherever they went. And I'm looking at this one. This one can pass for a nanny in a school. This one is an MD of a bank. That is, you know what an MD of a bank is? Let me remove my glasses. You know what the founder of a startup is? Silicon Valley? Yes, let me cite my people. We're going there too. Yeah, so let's bring it together. Some of you may not hit in first time. You would apply, you won't get it. You will not cut across the 25 to 30. That was my story. I finished with a 2-2. I read economics, but I finished with a 2-2. I started actually very well. I started with 4.0, doing very well, but I got distracted because I thought I wanted to leave the country. But it didn't work out. And some other things, I just lost interest. I was ahead of my time. But thank God for Yejide. She saved me, my reading partner. She literally saved me and made sure I graduated. And there was this revelation in campus. Some people say God said they should leave campus and forget about school, some dangerous stuff like that. That thank God I didn't fall into. But things like that. But here's the point. And help me here. I was made chairman seminar committee of I need to round up. I have like 10 minutes. I'm going to tie this up. Chairman, are you enjoying it? Do you want to give me extra time? If you're here and enjoy it, take extra time. Vote for it. But let me land, all right? I just need 20 people to say extra time. And then if they're up to 20, then I will take an extra 10, an extra 5. So, but no more than 15 minutes, I'll be out of your way. Even me, I don't want to talk too long. I have a speaking engagement after this. All right. So now, let me not get flattered and distracted. All right. No, if you're an Enzo Krypton or you're on the family, you're excluded. You cannot vote. I mean, you want to increase, you want to pay rise now. You can't vote now. Hello. Anyway, people that work for us cannot vote because they won't pay rise. They want to use us on package. I mean, please don't come on. You see how the kiss us in this workplace. Anyway, forgive my French. You can edit that out. Alemu. So here's the thing, guys. I didn't get it. So as at 400 level, when I saw that, okay, dude, it's looking like your 2-1 and first class is out of the way, I was made chairman seminar committee. I was in economics. Now, I could have been ran for president of the department, but I did not. I was a bit busy with other things, you know. So I now did. So when he made me chairman seminar committee, I wanted to say me chairman seminar committee. I can screw you, you president of the association of the group. I said no, I will take it. I took it. I went to town. It was in Abuja then, University of Abuja. I went to town. I looked for one entrepreneur that I admired. I loved what they were doing. They were young, they were in their 30s, they were wealthy. Listen to this. Access Bank, I'm saying this, Access Bank was their bank, but they had more money than Access Bank. Yes, you heard me. He told me years later, they had more money than their bank. So, of course, they don't exist now, but here's the thing. So he said, okay, he will come. Very charismatic guy, young man, sharp looking, everything, top of their game, trying to be the Google of Africa. So the day before the conference, Monday, he just called me. Emmanuel, there's a problem. I'm in Abuja. I can't make this conference. But you know what I'll do? I'll send someone. I say, no, I've already made noise on campus. I've even gone to one quarrel with people with first class to tell them that it's not by first class. And they almost stole me. Like they were ready to stone me. Even though somebody said he that has no sin should cast first. They were going to stone me. But anyway, I had to go and apologize. But anyway, what happened was, so he said, don't worry, this guy will deliver. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. Lo and behold, he sent the guy that ended up becoming my boss. That was the guy that trained me in consulting. But I don't want to get into that. If you want to follow me, go and find my story somewhere, either origin, you get the full gist. But here's the thing, right? This guy came, we became friends. We kept in touch. Funny enough, we went to the same secondary school. I kind of liked us. Because everyone, these young boys trying to do microfinance institution on campus. Me and my friend, Mickey, some of you meet her. We set up a microfinance bank. And she was in 300 level, I was in 400 level. Packed proposal, went to town, entered boss. I remember that they entered boss together. Just season and boss, where are you going? We're going to town to go and submit proposal to First Bank, Intercontinental Bank, GT Bank, and one other bank like that. GT Bank called us. When GT Bank called us, they said, "Yeah, come. So I went. I was like, so we sat together. I was so excited. GT Bank is going to give us money. The guy said, you guys are brilliant. I can't believe the university students are doing this. But you know what? They're not going to answer you. This is too, apparently it was too pedestrian. They didn't even know. But you know what will happen? We will give you guys, if you guys ever serve in Abuja, you are guaranteed a job in GT Bank. Well, already. So in other words, yours truly had locked up his career. Now, if I didn't take the consulting path, I would have probably been a banker, which was tier one at that time. So listen to trick number one. I've started to give you the principle. I'm going to give you about 4. No, I'm going to give you 3 with some subcategories. So trick number 1 is this. Listen to this, guys. The best time to prepare to join a tier 1 career path, company, functional area, or industry is to prepare ahead. The mistake people make is they don't prepare ahead and always show up and they keep getting bounced. Some of you don't know that you can enter tier 1 outside of a recruitment process. Oh my God, I've lost some people here. Listen to this. Some of you, just like me and my friend, went to the bank. GT Bank. I would have been okay. I mean, at that time, banking was great. So then I would have probably been like, what? Maybe I would have done Shakara, I don't know, AGM or something. AGM is aggressive. I would have done some fantastic stuff. I know I won't be a mediocre and I won't be average. So based on that, I was able to, that's how I got my first employment. Now, guess what? The second guy, my boss that I now worked with, that one too observed. He now left that company where the one that that my guy that I wanted to get, he left that company, came to Lagos to start his own company. He said he wanted to do consulting. I didn't know what was that. Like, what was that? Cut the story short, it's a long story. I was posted to Lagos, which is a miracle that I cannot explain. I'm not joking because I'd already told them. I sent my letter to the DG through my friend's father, who were like best friends. And I told them Abuja, after all, they've guaranteed me employment. Lo and behold, I saw Lagos. When I saw, I said, this one is divine. But cut the story short, yours truly is here. I came to Lagos. There's a long story in between, but this is what happened. People started putting me under pressure. Do banking, can you go consulting? How much are they paying you? Because I'm working too hard. In my own mind, I'm sitting with this guy. I'm seeing slides and decks. Like when I say deck, like slide, I'm seeing companies I know. Etisalat, now Nine Mobile, just came into Nigeria. They did the strategy for that market. They call market entry strategy. I saw from a distance the slide. I saw the market. I saw the analysis. I'm like, yay, what is this? This is what I want. And the guy, we're walking out of his dining table, like for home office. They take light, inverter goes off, everybody goes to sit down for mentorship. I'm not kidding you guys. Leave the office at what, 9 o'clock? Because I wanted to avoid traffic and be back by 8 a.m. And when you get home, you finish your work and sleep at 12 or 1 and wake up at 4, otherwise you miss the bus. And the days you wake up too late, you bike from 6 roundabouts, I call it roundabout, but 6 bus stops after Festac to Ikoyi, you take a bike. 6, so that you're not late. Meanwhile, you're not rushing. There's no meeting. You must not be late. But anyway, that aside, I got in and then I started learning. This guy took us to a club one night. So I don't club, but he just took us to go and see. He said, I want you guys to meet someone. Guess who I met? I'm going to start sharing my slides now. I'll show you. Some of you know. This was for a young copper, right? A young copper. Just picture this. They take you as a copper and they say, you're going to meet someone tonight. And yours truly met this guy. You can see my screen, I'm sure. It's loading. Boom. If you don't know this company, you are wrong. All right? That's him, Achalik, in 2008. Now, young man, you sit down in a room with this guy, you guys are talking, you are catching up. Which bank they won't send you to? Which, no disrespect. So that was when I cracked it. People join consulting firms and they say it gives them the acceleration part, blah, blah, blah. I can go on and on. The CEO factory. I don't have time to unbundle that. My time is fast spent. But that's when I stumbled on the concept of a tier 1 career path. What I learned now gave me the opportunity, by the grace of God, even not because of the startup I'm running now, to be able to get admitted into any company I want in the world. How do I know? Because even the people that I trained are working for those companies. So it's not a question of whether or not you want to get in there. It's a no-brainer. That is the concept of tier 1. Tier 1 is that you substitute. It's not about pay. You see, the problem is this issue of pay. Do you know what they were paying us? He was paying us 10K at that time. Now, which is quite a lot when you think about it at that time, because what is 10K now? I mean, this was almost like 16 years ago. We were always broke. The money was not enough. Our parents and family were still supporting us. At least they believed us. Some of us were head boys. So they said, okay, he knows what he's doing in Lagos. I mean, my parents came to my house for the first time a month ago, for the first time. And I could see the reaction on my mom's face. And she was like, okay, this is my son. I didn't know. Now, I'm sharing deep things, but I want to connect with you. I'm not fake. I'm Gen Z by identification, at least for this call. After that, I get out of it. You understand? LOL. But you get my joke, right? I'm real. But that's my story. My mom dropped me at the bus park in 2008. It was Gwagwalada, very early in the morning. I got into Chisco with my box. That's how I entered this town. Today, if I need to leave this town, I'll need like 240-foot containers. That's even the physical things. But the relationships, the boardrooms, you sit in the same room with the governor of Lagos. You enter the deputy governor's central bank's office, not once, not twice. They say they can't start the meeting when you show up. You've worked for all the big boys, World Bank, IMF. Where did it start from? From that dining table. From that dining table. From that dining table. I remember some of my friends who were on that call, who took very good care of me. Your company, and then they overwork you, Sha. Hey, I said, you don't understand. You don't understand. Years later, they understood. Tier one. So the bulk of the people on this call will not get in with one straight hit. They will need an alternative. And that's why we created Kryptr. Kryptr at heart is a community where you stick around until you become tier one, until you become tier one material. When I come back in subsequent slides, I will tell you in subsequent sessions, I'll tell you how the problem is. I was at Microsoft office this afternoon for a workshop. They invited me, about just 10 of us. They just identified us and they said, come. They wanted to talk to us about something. It was a foreign company that came in and they wanted to talk to experts. They were talking. I'm like, okay, talking about. Let me talk now. You know me now. As I thought now like this, the direction of the conversation changed. Please, you can edit this out so that it's not part of the site, but not for promotional videos. But the point was, what's in outcome? What is when you're talking in stories? Where are you going to get the talent? When people that went to private university, who their parents paid to their nose, some of them sold assets, still cannot construct diction. Where they don't understand comprehension, composition, simple arithmetic. They're looking at me like zombies. Not you guys on the call. I'm talking about that's the problem. And that's why they check for aptitude tests. So those are the things we address at Kryptr. But more importantly, I made a very important point, and that's what I want to leave you with this evening. What are you going to do to keep you ready and open for this opportunity? Guys, oh God, let me give you guys a hack. If you're already a member of Kryptr community and you were working hard and you were checking all the boxes, okay, because we have boxes, but people that most people don't check, and I'll share them, and I'm repeating it, and you're already hanging around the opportunities, you understand? Then Abuja Economic Summit Group, they called me, they're having a conference. I'm giving you guys a trick. They're having a conference in Abuja. They invited me, I mean, not like any special invitation, but they just called me up. And I'm contemplating whether I should go. You had your onions together and you had your spark. Let's go for the conference. All the decision makers are in the room. You're not going to follow HR. That's the trick. If you have the spark, so you just walk into and hi, my name, because all the MDs are there. So there's this company that only chairman is doing graduate training, leave graduate training program. Okay, I told you how I got in. I never wrote a CV in my life, and I never sat in a job interview. In fact, the only time I went for a fellowship interview, I did poorly because I wasn't used to taking tests. So I was too overconfident, and they were like, "This guy no be our guy. He's behaving as if he doesn't want it because he doesn't want it. He doesn't need it." Well, by the grace of God and with all sense of humility, I have other things I need. Are we together? All right. Okay, sorry about that. Are we together? So I'm rounding up now. I'm rounding up. So here is the thing. Here is the thing. The idea is, and please, I know I said a lot of things, but I'm deliberate about my strategy. I'm trying to, I'm looking for your heart. I'm not interested in your head yet. When I get your heart, I'll walk my way up to your head. So how do you prepare? I just told you now. Okay, you're in Kryptr. You're hanging around. You did the course, hanging around with Tarfa, EABA, Wando, Yang. You do some IP factory work. So we don't know what does that mean. Get some opportunity here. They refer you. Oh, go and do EA for this person. Then for some reason you just gather money and you fly yourself to economic summit group. You're in the room. You have your spark together. You walk up to any CEO and say, Listen, they will not put you at early career if you know your onions. They will take you straight to middle level management. That's just one hack. I have like at least 10. I can promise you. Let me give you the second one. To be the executive assistant of an institute. That is one of the hottest roles. In fact, today I've received at least 25 requests for EAs. And this year, 25 requests for EAs. They are coming to me. I didn't go to advertise. 25. Today I got one. Now, if you are the EA to the MD, you're the second most powerful person in the company. Full stop. But young people just miss it. So I don't know. Sometimes it just makes me mad. That's why when I'm angry at incompetence and mediocrity, I overreact because I'm like, you're the most powerful person in the company. Sometimes I just, oh my God, how do I explain this? CEOs are lonely. Yeah, I'm lonely. It's end of month. I'm lonely. I'm on my own. We're lonely. LOL. We're lonely. We're very lonely. Guys, let me tie up my presentation. Here is the conclusion. All right. So how do you prepare? Now, for those of you who know me, I'm back. Number one is this. Yeah, you heard me loud and clear. This will largely focus on building your ability to understand. Now, this is for ability to think and write. So I picked this one. This is this is the global one. Now, I started this since 2008. That's when I stumbled on this concept, since 2008. Now, I used to do this business day. I used to like four, this one, this day, business day, and something. I can show you my phone. It still has it since that time. But when you come here, and today's not the day for it, right? Because I'm rounding up now. You pick the headlines and you read about the headlines. But this is where I want you to come. Business. And you read, you read, you read, you read, you read. The more time you have, the more articles. If your job only allows you to read one article a day, by all means, read. This is one of the greatest assets that most young people that stick around me still don't get. So when I go for meetings and I scatter tables and I display some unusual intellectual cerebral, I'm like, guys, I'm not even, it's too. It's University of Abuja. It's not Harvard though. Now, there are other secrets I can't disclose here, but at least I've told you them. And I'm not even ashamed to share it. You know why I'm in a hurry to get you guys employable? Because I have people that want to hire you. And the more I can get you to hire, the quicker I can become a unicorn. And everybody in my company cashes out quickly, and we can all retire and go and be missionaries. Do you understand what I mean? But these young people are not paying attention. And the reason is that we're drowning in too much information. So we're now confused. Okay. Don't worry, guys. This is part of it, and I'm rounding up. But you guys give me extra time. Let me show you something. This was part of the arrangement. While this is loading, so this is it. Please follow me. This is one I use. I use Apple, right? Apple Podcast. Now, please, number one, BBC. Why BBC? BBC is, and they don't pay me for this. BBC is the broadest and the most. The world is not neutral. They're not neutral. Everybody's neutral. Everybody has their own biases, but at least you can get stuff to read. You can come under innovation. You can just learn. You don't know the interview you go for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow you go to Economic Summit Group. And then you go and walk up to a CEO, and then the guest says, I work for a especially in Abuja. They say, I work for a non-profit. What do you guys do? Well, we work with Bill and Melinda Gates, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how is that your malaria program going? She just look at you. Who is this guy? Are you not early career? Yeah. And then you now start talking about things that you read here. This is the magic. This thing has done magic for me. So you read and you build. This is one. Number two. Now, please follow me. This one. Now, there is BBC podcast, Global Business. And I'll open my phone and I'll show you because that's easier for me. But please follow me. Please follow me. So look at this, and I'm rounding up. This one, Global Business Reports. You can see it's a playlist. It's so brilliant. There are 2,592 episodes. Now, I will not listen to 2,592, but I promise you that I am in tune with it. So, the way I advise you now is that you actually have to listen to everything. If you're early career, what you have in your hands is time. And if you're able to use your time, this is how it will be. You know how you catapult, you draw. That's the furthest you go. That's why I could move from campus to boardroom with Achaleke within the space of barely a year. It's called you taught. I think that's the word, and it releases it. So, what the mistake is, anyway, that's why Kryptr will help you. So, this is the second one. And then you read it very carefully and you listen. This one, I listen religiously. I pay attention to the words, and in fact, I even have a playlist where I segment the episodes according because of what I do. So I have microeconomics, I have AI, I put it there. But this is my number 2. Arise. You know why? The world is too busy. So some of you don't know. So some of you binge on different things. But because if you can pick one and you are consistent, you will end up having all. Let me repeat myself. If you pick one, but you are consistent, you end up with all. The problem is if you binge this one today and run somewhere else tomorrow, when you come back, because you went somewhere else, you miss the one that it always comes around. I can't explain it to you because of time, but it's powerful. I'll give you one episode. There was a particular person, celebrity that died. The guy that acted Doctor Who, one of the actors in Doctor Who. I don't know, you don't know, it's an old whatever. He died, and they were talking about him. Now, if I was listening to BBC in the 70s, I would have heard about him. But this is 2024. But because he passed, they now gave me an executive summary about the guy. But if I missed the episode, I wouldn't know. So the next time I go to UK and I sit in a room and somebody says something and I connect it to the guy and I bring up the conversation, I already have the deal. You know what you don't realize is that people like people they can trust. And if by any chance you have an inkling of their culture, of their religion, of their values, or anything that concerns them, you automatically become their friend and you have their favor. Ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you the biggest secret. Some of you don't need to follow through recruitment process. You can literally walk up to the HR manager and the person will give you the job. I told you GT Bank gave me a job as a 400 level student. GT Bank is not in its glory of those days. You know what GT Bank was? Banking is bankers. Everybody clear with bankers are coming. Was it? This is number 2. Number 3, please follow me. I'm going to switch to my phone. All right. And I'm rounding up. I promise. I know I promised my people that I was going to be out of the way. Wow. I have to stop. Maybe we should do part 2. I think I'll keep them hungry. Guys, I think we should do part 2. Let me respect the time. I will stop here. Go sign up on Kryptr. There are free stuff there. Follow us online. If you're a copper, join the community. Let's take you on a journey to get you to level 1 destination. I'd like to thank you for listening. Have a good evening. I'll watch out for part 2.